Welcome back, guys. Today I want to talk about anxiety symptoms and sensations and situations. I had a hard time coming up with the title for this video, but I kind of want to talk about how certain symptoms, sensations, and situations seem much worse than they actually are whenever it comes down to anxiety. And guys, this video I think is going to be really good for some of you. I wish I would have thought about some of these things whenever I was going through my journey. I think it would have given me a different perspective, and I think it would have helped me. I did start to think about these things whenever I started to recover, but I mean, that process took, it took me 4 years to start recovering. But hopefully this video can help you today. But you know what time it is, guys. Smash the like button down below if you're ready to kick anxiety in the butt. So I'm gonna try to give you a bunch of examples today about things that I used to have before I had anxiety disorder that seemed like a nightmare whenever I had anxiety disorder, to kind of paint this picture for you. I want to start with something like a simple twitch, okay? It could be a twitch in your arm, your eye. We know that anxiety causes a lot of twitching, and for some of you, chronic twitching and things like that. But I remember being a child and a teenager, and a lot of these examples I'm giving up to about the age of like 19, 20, whenever my anxiety started up. So in that range, I could have a twitch or something like that in my arm, and I would actually stare at it and just be fascinated by it. I'd be, wow, that's just crazy. That's cool how that happens. I wonder how long it can keep going. If it lasted all day, I didn't worry about that. I didn't care. If I had a twitch in my eye, I thought it was funny. If I saw somebody else with a twitch in her eye, we would laugh about it. It was just funny. It wasn't that big of a deal. I remember my lip twitching a lot. Just things like a twitch, right? But fast forward, whenever I would have anxiety, if I looked at a twitch, it started to freak me out, and now I have this really bad issue with catastrophizing. So I attach a fear with twitching, like I'm going to attach fear with all these things I'm about to talk about. And guess what? Now the twitching continues. I'm putting a lot of fear and focus on it, and this can last weeks or months. And some of you deal with the twitching. So now I'm thinking that I have a neurological issue, right? Or something that's directly causing the twitching, or a brain problem, or cancer, or something that's leading to that. And then it would happen all over my body, and now I'm just consumed by it, right? So this is an example of something that seems so much worse than what it really is, mainly because fear is attached to it. I'm not saying that twitching is annoying, right? It isn't annoying, excuse me, or a stomach ache isn't annoying, or tension isn't annoying, but when you combine fear and catastrophizing with it, that's whenever it becomes really, really scary, okay? And that's whenever the symptom can intensify, right? Or become more painful because of that fear and focus. So it's really the fear connected with these things that make things so much worse. Here's another one. I don't know if it's necessarily a symptom or if it's just like a situation, but nosebleeds. I used to get nosebleeds a lot whenever I was a kid. There was probably a decent chance that I needed to get something up here fused or burned or whatever. Cauterized is, I think, the word that they use. But I would get a nosebleed, at least like a couple times a month. And I remember in high school, we were on our way to a football game. I was in the band at the time, and my nose started to bleed, and it did not stop the whole entire way. And I was pulling out clots. I had to take my shirt off and everything to do this because we didn't have anything else. And I was pulling out clots that were like this long, like scary crap, right? And that went on, guys, for like an hour and a half, 2 hours. And then it actually started up later on the bus ride home. I never went to the hospital for it. Maybe I should have, but I was not freaking out, right, about these nosebleeds. I was not worried about it being a problem. I wasn't worried about losing too much blood. If anything, it was like a badge of honor in high school. I was like, look at this. This is crazy and all this. Gross and everything. TMI, I get it. Fast forward. If I ever had a nosebleed whenever I was dealing with anxiety, it was like there has to be something horribly wrong with me that's causing this. I remember a time whenever I was in the shower, I was taking a hot shower, and I sneezed, and blood went everywhere. I have a longer in-depth video about this on my channel. You can go back and search for it. But like, just blood went everywhere, and then it just started leaking like crazy. Dude, I started freaking out. I hurried up and tried to like wash off everything, and it was just coming out, and then it just led me into a full panic attack. And then I was trying to stop it. This didn't last anywhere near as long as that one in high school, right? But I'm over here thinking that I'm about to die, and I'm debating, like, should I like call an ambulance to get me, or should I try to drive? But what if I bleed out on the way there from a freaking nosebleed? You know what I mean? And this happened a few other times. Like whenever I would get nosebleeds, I'd worry about it. And then I'll say this, like if you have a nosebleed and you start to panic and everything like that, well, it does speed your heart rate up, so it probably could make the nosebleed worse. So I worried about that. It didn't help me calm down or anything, but I went into instant panic mode, okay? Noticing a new freckle or a mole or like a weird tint on my skin, or this could be with anything, right? Whenever I was younger, I was just like, a new freckle's there or a new mole. Fast forward to dealing with anxiety, I look at that and I'm like, oh my God, is that cancer? I don't think I've ever, and then you question everything, right? Like, have I seen that before? What if I haven't seen that before and it's new and it just popped up and it's just gonna expand? Now, oh my God, I have, melanoma, and like I'm gonna have this horrible skin cancer and I'm gonna have surgery and all this. And like, this is with everything, right? What did we do? We attached a fear with it instead of it just being like, it's a freckle. The universe is trying to get me to not get this video out to you. There's something going on left and right, but I'm gonna make sure I get this video out today. So sorry about that, guys. So I was talking about freckles, moles. We attach fear with it, right? Now something that was just seemed harmless and innocent before is like skin cancer, right? Things like stomach aches, right? Or sicknesses. I'll use the stomach pain, for instance. There was a period of time that I had gotten past my heart anxiety after a couple years, and I thought I was just out of it, right? But I didn't fix my problem with Googling, obsessing, or catastrophizing when I would feel something new. That was a new habit for me. I didn't change the fact that I would obsess or focus fear somewhere. I didn't, better myself by not jumping on Google and freaking myself out, even though I should have known better by then. So one day I had stomach pain on my lower right side, and I did all the wrong things. This wasn't even caused by anxiety, mind you. I actually went through a little period where I didn't really have much in the way of any symptoms. This has just had something to do with I ate or something to do with some IBS or something like that. Anxiety wasn't even causing it, but I freaked out about it, Googled it, put fear and focus, pushed and poked and prodded, and I made it a new habit. And guess what? Signals and tension kept going there every day for like 3 months after, until I was finally able to let that go. You know what I'm saying? So I attached fear with something that was probably harmless. That was probably just something I ate that day, or just something that didn't agree with my stomach, or maybe it was probably honestly trapped air, trapped gas that I would deal with. And I made it into like, oh my God, I have some type of digestive cancer. That's fear attached to it. Now, instead of me getting rid of that within a few hours of feeling it, now I have it for 3 months. So you see what I mean? So it's things like that. Sicknesses, colds, sinus infections. Guys, I used to get those a lot. I was a sickly little kid for some reason. I just had horrible allergies that didn't help. And I caught things very easily. I think it just had to do with my diet. I just ate whatever the hell I wanted back then. I didn't take care of myself that much. Luckily, I had a good metabolism and I was into sports and stuff. I could keep my weight down. But for some reason, I would just catch stuff. So I would always get like yearly sinus infections where I'd get this fever and it would last for like a week and a half or whatever. I would just deal with it, okay? I remember getting mono and I just dealt with it. I did get a little nervous with that one because that one did last a while. But just colds and stuff like that. They were just nuisances, right? They were annoying. But whenever I would get those things, whenever I had anxiety, oh my God, And I think I would actually drag the sickness out because I felt like my immunity went down whenever I was having really, really bad anxiety. So I think I would actually cause the sickness to linger even longer than it would have before because I attached fear with it, or I thought I was going to develop pneumonia, or I was just going to die, or I was going to have sepsis or whatever, so that scared the crap out of me. Or if I ever threw up, I was going to be dehydrated, or if I had diarrhea, I was going to be dehydrated and I was going to die that way. Guys, COVID, I am so thankful that I got out of my anxiety before COVID hit and the pandemic hit, because guys, I would have been freaking out so freaking bad, especially with the news and the article, like just bombarded with it. And then of course, the whole vaccination process, take it, don't take it, which, I would have just freaked out about all of it. I would have thought I was dying. Anytime I would have coughed or had some weird issue with my breathing, or like sneezed, or felt a little hot-headed or something. Like, I'm not even talking about actually catching COVID. If I were to catch it, I would have just been like, I'm going to die. You know what I mean? But I would have been paranoid 24/7. So many people came to me for coaching and came to my channel for health anxiety and stuff during the pandemic. You know what I mean? It was crazy. I was just, my heart went out to all the people that were dealing with that, and it was not a good time to have health anxiety, and it caused health anxiety for a lot of people that never had it before. So that's another example of like something like sickness and things like that. You attach fear with it, it can drag out. The symptoms seem so much worse than what they are. And something else that makes us makes some of these symptoms seem much worse than what they are is our sensitivity levels are so much higher. You know what I mean? So whenever we have high, and I've been talking about this, you know, desensitizing the body and our sensitive nervous system and all that stuff, like hypersensitivity can make things feel so much worse than what they actually are. I had stuffiness in my ear for the last year and a half that I dealt with my anxiety. I was convinced I had a tumor or something pressing up in there. It didn't help that I would always mess with my lymph nodes over here on the right side. I was always pushing and poking and prodding. So those things can swell up easily. That's what that was. But I was assuming that I had some type of a tumor or something that was causing that. I mean, I would go back and forth to the ENTs. I was like, can you please give me a CAT scan? You know, they were like, you don't need it. You know, this woman was was probably the best ENT in town, and she'd been here for years. And, you know, she's like, I don't see anything down in there. I'm feeling your lymph nodes, Trey. There's nothing abnormal. If anything, stop messing with them. She gave me a pressure test, right? And she said it was like one tiny tick off, and that could have to do with just like I've had chronic ear infections. Whenever I was a kid, I told you, I mean, I didn't mention it, but I used to get sick a lot whenever I was a little kid. Tons of ear infection. I had to have tubes put in my ears. I had to have my tonsils out. So she was like, it could have something to do with that, but I'm not seeing anything that warrants you going to get a CAT scan. Guys, it felt like somebody had shoved Kleenex all the way back in my ear. That's how much, you know, how real it felt to me. And I'm not saying your symptoms are fake, but they just seem so much more intense and real because of our focus and in the fear and the hypersensitivity. It magnifies everything. You know, we could say the fear is 1/3, the hypersensitivity is another third, and then just the actual symptom itself is like 1/3, right? But we got this 2/3 of hypersensitivity that makes it feel so much worse, and then the fear attached to it, that it seems like that takes up most of what these symptoms and situations and sensations are. So I dealt with that the last year and a half, and then finally, guess what? When I finally was like, I trusted the doctors, okay, I'm not gonna keep going, I'm gonna let go, over a span of like 1 to 2 weeks or something like that, it melted away. It just went away. I didn't do nothing different. This is after seeking answers. Globus hystericus, guys, the tightness in your throat. They will go down there and look and search. Some people are getting endoscopies and like going down there and checking things out. It feels like there's a freaking baseball in your throat. So many people think that they have throat cancer. I went through this numerous times and I would freak out about it. It happened a lot when I would have panic. And it just tightens up, and sometimes it can stay like that for a long time. Any of these symptoms can be chronic and last for months or longer. If you put enough focus and fear into it and you're not able to let go of control of it. But guys, that's so much worse than what it actually, you think that there's something in there growing like a tumor or there's something stuck. No, there's nothing in there. It's just some tightness and it's a sensation. And then you focus on it and you attach fear to it. It feels like somebody's choking you when you're not. You can still breathe. You're getting enough air. There's nothing growing. There's nothing lodged. You know, that's another example. So those are some situations and symptoms and sensations, guys, that I felt like I could give some examples of to kind of give you a different perspective, hopefully, that a lot of what these symptoms are is fear. They are real symptoms, you know, whether they are caused by anxiety or not. What you are feeling is technically real. But what you're also feeling is fear and focus and hypersensitivity mixed with it to make it actually much more powerful or fearful or worse than what it actually is. Whereas if we would handle the situation better, not do all the wrong things like I would do all the time, and we felt something, we were able to let it go and not catastrophize about it, wouldn't last that long, it'd go away. We wouldn't attach focus and fear and build up some sensitivity to it, and it would pass, right? But that's anxiety for you. But I hope that was an interesting video or an interesting take for some of you guys. You know, I've made so many videos, so whenever I come up with something different or new to talk about, I want to try to hurry up and record it because sometimes it's hard to think of things these days to keep talking about. But if you want more help with your recovery and are interested in what I did to get out of panic disorder, health anxiety, and generalized anxiety disorder, my course, ELITE Anxiety Bootcamp, is going to be down below in the description in the first pinned comment. It's helping a lot of people. It's going to give you a step-by-step process and what I did to get out of that, a lot of downloadable materials, close to 100 videos that are going to take you step-by-step through that process. My coaching info is down there, guys. Please heart this video if you got value and subscribe if you're new. Tons of videos like this. I love you guys, and until next time, keep fighting.